In this video, we'll have a look at some of the risk estimation tasks and how they were handled in our two risk analysis case studies. As I mentioned before, these case studies are not perfect examples. Sometimes they're very good and sometimes not so good. Their value to us, though, is in the lessons we can learn from their strengths and weaknesses, and as always, I encourage you to ask questions in the module discussion forum. The GLMRS report was completed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The Corps has been addressing a wide variety of water resources issues for the United States, more or less in this way, for the better part of a century. In that time, they've figured out the kinds of information they do and do not need for most problems that arise. It would be a rare instance for a problem to come up that would cause staff to go to their bosses and ask, "What kind of information do you need from us?" The GLMRS report was probably 30% new risk work and 70% familiar work for the Corps. Those are my rough estimates, by the way, not official numbers. But I want you to know they mostly knew what to do without having to be instructed by a set of questions from the risk managers. Because of this way of working, we're not going to find a list of questions here instructing the assessment staff in the information the management staff needs to do their job. We covered the risk management objectives in the video found in the previous module. This GLMRS study was unique for the Corps of Engineers, and on page 19 here you will see the closest thing to a list of questions you're ever likely to see in a Corps report. This list of remaining requirements in essence identifies the information required, in addition to the information provided in the various parts of the GLMRS study report, to identify the recommended risk management option for this problem. So you'll notice they will need site-specific investigations and analyses, site-specific designs. Looking down the list, you see they need a recommended plan, and so it would go. There was no explicit and specific risk profile step done in the GLMRS study. The Corps does not ordinarily include such a step in their work. They do, however, rely heavily on identifying what is known and what needs to be known in each study process. That's part of what these remaining requirements do. They identify those things that need to be known. The Corps has a planning process that's quite similar to the risk management process identified in your text. Prior work in an area and early iterations of planning studies often provide a substantial body of work upon which the study team can build. The many documents that are available at this website will comprise a significant resource should the U.S. Congress decide to pursue one of the risk management options identified in this report. This happens to be the GLMRS report website. Now let's have a look at the Vibrio parahemolyticus risk assessment. This was completed by a different U.S. government agency, the Food and Drug Administration Center for Food Safety and Applied Nutrition. They did a very nice job on the questions, as you see here on page 2 of the report. These 6 questions guided the conduct of the risk assessment, and they were carefully answered. I will show you here in the executive summary where answers are provided by the risk assessors. So this risk assessment does an exceptional job of identifying and answering questions. You can see in the body of the main report where these questions were initially posed. These questions are not textbook perfect, but they mark a significant step forward by making the questions explicit. This is something that we should strive for in our risk analysis work.